Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Lansing. For this, our traditional burning bowl, COVID style. Today's talk is about keep the best, release the rest. Let's set the tone for the service with some music by Eddie Watkins Jr. Feel free to sing along, one you know.
Service, it's about lending a hand. It's about love and it's about laughter. It's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness. It's about hearts open wide. It's about love and it's about passion. It's about taking a chance. It's about love and it's about service. It's about lending a hand. Lending a hand.
That brings back memories of times that we were all together. We'll be together soon. Time will pass and we will go on. I love this meme because I think it so represents the year we've had and what we're looking forward to moving into. We have been surviving. All of us, we've had to do life differently. There's none of us that has not been impacted in the entire world. As we move into 2021, there's this great sense of moving from just surviving to beginning to thrive again. We are just all bursting, ready to go, ready to grow with whatever is coming up next to us. And, I think this new year is like really a crisis point for us, a dangerous situation, the Chinese writing, because there's this huge change coming up from being a victim of a world pandemic, steeling ourselves against this invisible virus. And now we're going to emerge into some kind of a new normal. And I'm not sure what that new normal is going to look like. Will handshaking be replaced by namaste? How will we feel about hugs? Yeah, it's been a long time since we were able to hug whoever we wanted to. I've been thinking about how I feel about makeup because anytime we saw anybody else, we've had half our face covered. So will makeup still be as important, or dress for that matter? Will we give up our sweatpants? Or decide comfort is where it's at, and that's what we're going to go through. Or how about even just popping into a store because you were going by and wanted to pick something up and you didn't have to make preparations. Make sure you had your mask, make sure you had your hand sanitizer. I mean, all kinds of different things. So there's no one that knows the answer to what the new normal is going to look like. But I do know this, whatever the new normal is, we, you and I, are co-creating it. So we get to make all these choices. We are being gifted with this blank canvas. We get to create this new societal norm, if you will. So what have we learned through isolation? What have we learned through racial awakening? What are we going to take away from this year to build a better future? As a matter of fact, what does better mean? I'm not sure. I just don't know. But before we can do that, we need to decide what we're going to leave behind us. What baggage are we carrying that's going to keep us out from just jumping forward in this new growth phase? And as different as this year has been, some things didn't change. There have been those we've disappointed and those who have disappointed us. We've all made mistakes that we wish somehow we could have a do-over. There have been times that we might not have been as kind or compassionate as we could have been, as generous or as gracious, as non-resistant even to what's happening. That was a big one for me, to be non-resistant to this whole kind of curtailed life, what it sometimes felt like. And sometimes we haven't been as vocal as or as prepared as we might have been. So whatever regrets we might have on our heart, today we have the opportunity to make a conscious decision not to carry them into the new year, into our new normal, which is even now being birthed. Remember, when we let go, truly let go of what we are in this moment, what we might have been in prior moments, that's when we can become what we might be. That's when we become that full potential, living our full potential, being God in expression in the very best way in our lives and in all those that we associate with. So think about it. Today is about going off autopilot and making a conscious decision to let go of what no longer serves us. We hit the stop button on that right there. Yeah. And we want to bless and embrace our strengths. We all have our strengths. They might not seem a lot to us because we've always had them, but it's really time to turn that on button. Just get that on button going in our lives. This is where we want to go. And above all, get off of autopilot. We are in the driver's seats. We are actively co-creating because we were given that power, that ability to choose how we live our lives. So let's get on with it. I'm going to stop that. There we go. So there is kind of a handbook on how to leave a world pandemic. And in the foreword of this book, you know, there's a little foreword. It says, if you knew you were on the verge of a spiritual breakthrough, how would you prepare for it? What would you do to support such a far-reaching and important event? Well, the proper answer is I would do nothing different from what I'm doing today, because my current life is perpetually preparing me for one spiritual breakthrough after another. So it's not like we have to do anything different. We are being prepared. We are slowly being nudged awake into whatever that new normal is. The only things holding us back is any heavy baggage we're carrying from back there. There's a song I used to sing in Sunday school, The Bible Tells Me So. And the handbook on how to get out of a pandemic I got from the Bible. In the beginning of the Bible, there's these 7 allegories about mankind and how we imagine ourselves separate from God, and how we're struggling to get back to God, even though that separation is only in our own mind. And there's a lot of stories of times of challenging growth, spiritual growth, but challenging nonetheless. There is a story about a man and a wife and 3 sons. And this man was very spiritual. He did his prayer work. And one day he got this really strong message. He got it several times, I believe. And it was for him to build an ark that there was going to be a big flood, a big cleansing, a big change coming. And because he was what the Bible calls a righteous man, he was going to be protected from it if he would do this thing. So he begins to build an ark to help him through this absolute calamity that was beyond imagining. Who could imagine the whole world being flooded? He built this ark, and then he quarantined himself, his family, the animals, all that mattered. He quarantined. And he quarantined during a storm that lasted 40 days and 40 nights. And then there was 150 days of flooding, and the water started receding. And yet there was another 40-day wait for the ground to get dry so he could get off of it and embark. And if you think about Noah and the ark, it just so reminded me of our physical distancing, our quarantining, and really gathering close to us that which matters, that which we value, that which is important to our heart, if at all feasible. And the slow waiting period to know when it was safe to go out into the world again, waiting for that water to recede, waiting for that spread of the virus to recede. When they left behind the ark, they really entered a new world, just like you and I are gradually getting ready to step out of that sanctity and safety of our home into something more interconnected, physically interconnected. So in the story, well, the story itself, tells us they survived it. They made it, to the other end of this great cleansing flood. Theirs was water, ours is a virus. But the metaphysics of it is just so wonderful. The idea of an ark is really about a sacred space. And metaphysically, it means it's a safe space, a positive state of mind that we have the ability through doing our prayer work, meditation, doing affirmations, to create that part of our mind that we can retreat to when the world seems chaotic and fearful. In the story, it talks about, the people that are left behind, the wicked people. Well, wicked and the people, and metaphysically talks about thoughts that we carry in our mind, thoughts and feelings within our individual consciousness that are not in alignment with an idea of oneness, with an idea of the ever-present existence of God. Okay. And then that God is saving the righteous, that means those thoughts within us, that our feelings, our attitudes, our beliefs, which are true, which are useful, and which are beneficial to our existence. I mean, it's all there. Remember, when we do the metaphysics of a Bible story, we are all the characters. So there's parts of us that we would like to leave behind. They really don't support us. And there's parts we want to take forward that we've worked well on, and they're strong and shiny and helpful within us. There's also some more instructions here that Joseph was to take pairs, male and female. Now, the reason metaphysically we talk about pairs is because we know that we're not led only by our intellect, we're not led only by our feeling nature, but it's a combination of our intellect and feeling nature that allows us to move forward in fullness of a very balanced state of mind, a beautiful yin and yang, if you will. And he's told to take 7 pairs of everything. And the number 7 is a beautiful metaphysical number. It means physical manifestation. So we want to take lots of those really good, powerful thoughts so that we might have that physical manifestation of goodness at the end of our journey. And then, of course, 40 days of rain at the beginning, 40 days of the earth drying out at the end. And 40 just means as long as it takes. It takes a really long time. And if you actually look at the story in the Bible, the story, according to the calendar references they gave in this allegory, takes place, it's longer than a year. So they end one year, live through this year of turmoil, and then take a few more months yet to come out the other side. So it's not like this kind of change is quick. It's not an instantaneous healing. It is a journey where we really allow ourselves to strengthen spiritually, where we allow ourselves to grow spiritually. And when the first time when the ark lands, it lands on top of this mountain. And Noah doesn't quite know how to tell if it's safe to go out. Is the ground, hardy enough? So he opens the window and he lets out a raven. And the raven metaphysically means a thought of ours going out in consciousness to connect with the outer world. And when that bird is let out, it never comes back. It just keeps flying around. It cannot find a place to land. Just like our thoughts going out into the outer world, that is not where they grow, not the thoughts. Our activities can make a difference, but our thoughts just kind of dissipate this great human consciousness. But then he sends out a dove, and the first time the dove comes back, the second time when the dove comes back, the first time, sorry, this is the second bird, he comes back with a leaf, an olive leaf. So Noah knows that something is growing there, that the land is beginning to get dry and firm. And a little while later, he lets the dove again, and this time the dove doesn't come back because it has found a new home. So the dove symbolizes to us that peace of mind and confidence in nature. There's that divine unfoldment when we are non-resistant to the appearance of things that are happening. So that dove, when it's finally released, we know we're in that state of non-resistance. So today in this unity ceremony, it's not a memorial to the past, nor is it wishful thinking for the future. It's a time of letting go to find ways to determine our new dry land. We're building our own ark to house our inner wisdom. We are preparing to step out of the ark into the heaven on earth, created by God in our hearts. Heaven on earth. The psalmist wrote, "Create in me a new heart and put a new and right spirit in me." And years later, after the prophet wrote, the prophet Ezekiel wrote, "A new heart I will give you and a new spirit I will put within you." But that can't happen if we're carrying the baggage. If our house is already full, we can't put anything more in it. So it's not a memorial. It's not wishful thinking for the future. It's being very present to the now, to this holy instant. The earth we talk about with four directions: north, south, east, and west. And I think there's kind of four areas where we can have some baggage laid up. One of them is about mistakes. I hate to make mistakes. I don't know about you. Maybe you just rush over, but a lot of times, those of us like me just really beat up on myself when I make mistakes. But when we make a mistake, what it's telling us that if we change our behavior, we don't have to make that mistake again. So any of those mistakes that are kind of niggling in the back of our mind, we can just release them because we can learn from them and we don't need it anymore to remind us about changing our behavior. The second one, of course, the big one, is forgiveness. We need to seek forgiveness from others who perceived we have harmed them or hurt them in some way. And we also need to give forgiveness to others that we perceive have hurt us or harmed us in some way. And I like to think of it as perceived because we never know how our behavior is going to be perceived by another, nor the other person's intentions that we may perceive as being harmful or hurtful to us. The third thing we need to look at, many times we get so caught up in our humanness that we forget to rely on our spiritual resources. And we have a lot. Christmas Eve, we talked about the 12 powers, the 12 faculties within us. So as we release this stuff, and if we have trouble releasing this stuff, whatever is keeping us from releasing this, remember that we have these spiritual tools, these spiritual resources to let go without fear, to let go knowing that there is something so much greater than us in charge. And then finally, the fourth direction, I think, is about a better relationship with ourselves. You might call it forgiveness of self. You might call it erasing the blackboard, that all those judgments, when you've been hard on yourself because you didn't do this or you did this, whatever you might have passed judgment on yourself for, it's time to let it go. Yes, that happened. So what? It's over. This is now. This is the present. This is where we are at. And all those things that happened before brought us to this point in consciousness. All those things, the good, the bad, and the ugly. James Thurber wrote, "Let us not look back in anger or look forward in fear, but around in awareness." So that's a really good way to look at this release ceremony, helping us to look around simply in awareness, not in attachment, not in judgment, just in awareness. So in the past, we have used the transformative power of fire. That's why we call it the burning bowl ceremony. We used flash paper, we wrote things down and watched it disappear up in smoke. This is a different year, in case you haven't noticed. So this year, we are going to use the experience of Noah, the power of water, both to cleanse the earth when Noah got out of his ark. This is a brand new beginning. And also we use water to baptize. And a baptism is a blessing of the divine within that which we bless, whether it be a person, whether it be an experience, whether it be a thought. Everything that has happened to us this year, we are going to bless consciously, keep the best, and release the rest. So you do need some supplies for today. I sent out to those of you that are members, we sent out dissolving paper. It looks like regular paper, but it dissolves very kind of magically. And for those of you who did not get this, or maybe you can't find yours, this year it's certainly appropriate to use toilet paper. Now, of course, we know toilet paper can be very dear. It's a little hard to write on, but it's an effective symbol to help us let go of that. I probably can't say that in a church service. Let's say holy caca that we're holding on to. So this is your alternative if you don't have dissolving paper. So we're going to go into a time of meditation. And it's really a time where you just allow your mind to float without judgment. And when an idea arises, you just simply, you write it down and then you close your eyes as you begin again. So we're just going to take a deep breath. As we exhale that breath, we just make ourselves comfortable in our chair. And I'm going to hear some music from Deidrey Francois, a beautiful song she wrote called Pray, to put us into that mood of non-resistance, to be ready to do the work that truly is ours to do. Breathing deeply, making ourselves comfortable. Breathe deeply again and fully exhale.
When you are in doubt and darkness surrounds you, pray. When heartache consumes you, no one to turn to, pray. I listen to your pain. I hear you call my name. There's no judgment in my eyes, just a purifying flame. Come unto me, all who are weary, pray. Reach out your hand, I'm gonna carry you, pray. Come unto me, all who are weary, pray, and I will give you rest. When problems engulf you and everyone depends on you, pray. When guilt suffocates you and loved ones desert you, pray. I feel you tear apart. Fear is gripping at your heart. There is refuge in my eyes. Come to me, I'm where you stand. Come unto me, all who are weary, pray. Reach out your hand and I'm gonna carry you, pray. Come unto me, all who are weary, pray, and I will give you rest. I will give you rest. I hear the curtain call, out of control, spinning like a ball. You've given it your all, and now I'm waiting for your call. It is a turning into that greater power that is within ourselves, in the universe, and in all things. Prayer does work, but you do have to believe it. You do have to believe it. Come unto me, all who are weary, and I will give you rest. Come unto me, all who are weary, pray. Reach out your hand, and I'm gonna carry you. Pray. Come unto me, all who are weary, pray. And I will give you rest.
As that music moves through us ever so gently into our consciousness, just calming us, giving us that surety of Spirit's presence within us. We can choose to be ready to unencumber ourselves of anything that is holding us back. During this meditation, excuse me, I invite you to open your eyes when you need to write down any words or situations that come to you. Doesn't need to be a journal. It could be a symbol. It could be some letters, just something so that you can symbolically take it from your mind, unlock that baggage, and put everything down as a form of release. No judgment. It just no longer serves you. So if you're in a comfortable position, it's a great time to just close your eyes. Have your pen ready to write on your paper, so as something comes to mind, rises to mind, you can just write it down. Continue to take these deep breaths together to make a journey away from fire, the formative power of fire, into that soothing, cleansing quality of water. We become ever more peaceful, filled with the healing presence of God itself. As I continue this meditation, I will do so in the first person. So allow my words to be your words. When I say the word I, hear it as your voice in your heart. Feel them enter your heart and have meaning for you. I relax my body and clear my mind. Prepare to receive through the Holy Spirit images and impressions of things which are no longer serving my spiritual unfoldment. Holy Spirit, I invite your sacred and holy presence into this awareness. Bring to the surface of my conscious mind beliefs and attitudes that no longer serve me. I activate my spiritual resources, calling upon my 12 spiritual faculties to assist in this magnificent healing process. My faculty of faith allows me to believe in the reality of the goodness of God. I see unlimited possibility before me. My faculty of strength gives me stability and endurance. My power of wisdom helps me to identify that which needs to be released. And I freely, lovingly let go of anything, any idea, any thought, any memory which no longer serves me for my highest good. I express the gifts of power and imagination through the written word as I write down what I am releasing. My gifts of understanding and will are quickened and illuminated. I am able to know God's will for me, absolute good. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing zeal is brought forth in fullness. Through elimination, I clear out and forgive the past, and I am filled with the vitality of life. Have I allowed the past to make me a prisoner? Is my past holding me hostage? Right now, I know that the doors to the prison are opened with the keys of awareness and forgiveness. The past has no power over me. I acknowledge I have made mistakes, sometimes out of ignorance, sometimes because I was asleep. Going forward, I stop hitting the snooze button so I may be fully awake for the life I am living. I forgive and release the past, allowing the healing power of love into my life. God is my wholeness. I allow a spirit to move through any area of my life where the flow of love has been blocked, where I may have sabotaged my good. I release it and let it go. I release and forgive all the people and situations of my past that have caused me to hold on to anger and resentment. As images of these people and places rise to the surface of my mind, I write them down and silently say, I release you. I forgive you. I let you go, and I love you. I release any fears I have been holding on to, fears of either the past or the future. I lovingly and magnificently forgive myself for all past errors. I forgive any aspect of my being, my body, my mind, unwise choices, inner conflict. I give it all to the healing power of God. I let down inner barriers. And as I do so, love moves through me freely, cleansing me, healing me, allowing me to be transformed. Thy will be done through me. Create in me a clean heart, a new spirit. I am willing. I willingly forgive. I willingly surrender. I surrender to the activity of unconditional love in every area of my life and even my body. Thank you, God, for the healing presence within me. Oh, in the name and through the power of the Christ within, I say thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. Let us take a deep breath and continue to write as you need so to do. I'm going to be playing one other song to help us release anything heavy on our hearts, anything still lingering within our psyche. Let Go of the Shore by Karen Drucker. Release. There is nothing to fear about letting go. Allow the music to carry you, to comfort you, to strengthen you. Continue to breathe.
Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. You have all you need, it's all inside of you. Just close your eyes and breathe and know that you are safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. No need to make a plan, your heart will be your compass. Lift your sails in faith and trust that you will arrive. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Float into the mystery. Float into the mystery. Let go. Float. Float.
Whoa.
Let go.
Let go.
Float. Let go. Float.
Wonderful. That to me is just the perfect song to help us. Just trying to stop this so we can. Okay. There we go. So here I have a bowl of water. So if you don't have a bowl of water handy or you're not near a sink where you can put some water in, you can just simply press pause and go and get a bowl and put some water in it and wait for you to come back. As long as you hit start again on the pause. For those of you that have the water, that we all have our water, I took the liberty of writing down my release notes on this piece of paper. And I'm going to place it in the bowl. And at first, it just looks like water getting wet. But watch this. With just a little bit of movement of the water, it dissolves into nothingness. Now, if you're one of those using toilet paper, I'm not going to take you into the bathroom here to show you about the process there, but basically whatever you've written on, it will soften in the water, and then you get to hit the flush button. and flush it all down, flush it away, knowing that you will never see it again. That is the release. That is the full and complete release. That's how simple it is to change our thinking. Let it go and go with the flow. Thank you. Now for a little spiritual practice for this next week. There we go. The next slide. There we go. Continue allowing the release process. I guarantee you that not everything that you're ready to release came up during this meditation. But once we start a process, it keeps coming up. And you know, if you're out of dissolvable paper, I'm hoping you all have toilet paper at home. And you can even just hold that paper and just say, blow into it. Just know I'm blowing that out, or write on it, whatever works for you, and then put it in the toilet and flush it away. Flush it away. What we want to make room in here so that next week when we do our white stone ceremony, that we can receive that inspiration, that new name, that word that will guide us in the new year, that will help keep us grounded into truth, and help keep us connected to spirit and to each other and to the oneness of which we are a part. So enjoy this week as you continue to let go of the shore of all that was known, to go in to that next recreation of a new world, heaven here on earth. Now, I do want to take a moment, it's year end, and I want to thank just so many for what has transpired this year. First of all, we've been able to make it through this year without going into debt. And part of that is the PPP, the Payroll Protection Plan, and the loan forgiveness of it. We received the loan and we'll be getting our papers sometime, I would imagine, in January to file for the forgiveness of that loan, so we won't owe anybody back on this. And then also we received a $10,000 grant from LEAP that doesn't need to be paid back. That was used for salaries to keep us solvent and keep us active and vibrant. And of course, all of you as individual donors that has kept this ministry alive and well and functioning in so many ways. And donors financially, but also donors of love and heart and service. We have connected, many of us, in much deeper ways than we ever would have if we were in person, actually. We have shared stories of family and friends. We've had to make a conscious decision to connect. So it certainly has been a deep year, an insightful year. And then, of course, all the gifts that we give. We are so grateful for other organizations in our community that are reaching out to support others. So the last 6 months, we've been supporting Punks with Lunch, who feed the homeless. And oh, yeah, God, especially not winters here. Just, I can't even imagine that existence. We've been supporting Rise, who supports those that are in recovery from an addiction. And our Sunrise Movement, these young people that are really devoted to protecting our earth, to helping heal our earth, and to teaching all of us how we can do things better. And of course, each of us have received so much this year. We need to celebrate our prosperity. We are breathing. We're on the green side of the grass. We have had a direction to do things differently this year. And in doing things differently, we've had new insights, new perceptions. We have had gifts of spirit, but we also had gifts from our friends and family. That unexpected, kind act that lifted us up for the day. Maybe the other person didn't even know it, but our heart knew it. So as we take a moment to embrace the many gifts we've been given, let's affirm together: divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I praise, give thanks, and I'm so glad. So if you haven't watched our beginning of this week's service yet, I hope you get a chance to catch Peace today and catch up on all that is happening with Unity. And if you're watching this on Sunday, I hope you'll join us for a Zoom fellowship time. God bless. Have a great week of releasing as we come together next time in the new year. This is a parting piece of music
this is Christmas,
that I hope will touch your heart.
and what have you done? Another year over, So this is Christmas. I hope you had fun. The